What's up, YouTube? Minccino here, and welcome back to another episode of Unknown Empire Season 2.5. It has been forever since I was able to make an episode, and that is because a lot of story stuff got cancelled. So unfortunately, that whole thing about the Keepers of Crystal didn't end up going anywhere, just due to the sheer amount of work involved with making that happen and us attempting to prepare for Season 3. So what I have decided to do instead is go over Minccino Clan lore and stuff. So we're basically going to go around the server to all of my journals and just give them a little bit of a read. So this might be a long one, but yeah, this will tell us a bit about where the Minccino Clan came from and, you know, just some of my perspective about what happened on the server. And some of the journals refer to some stuff inspired by real-life events. One journal in particular was written very, very close to my aunt's death, so things are going to get a little bit sad. But, you know, we're going to go around and read them all, so let's do that. So this journal refers to basically my first day on the server that didn't end up on video. Let's go ahead and read through this and see how often I screw up. You know, we'll see. My family came from a long line of explorers. My father used to tell me stories about the Minccino nomads, always moving from place to place, sharing what they had with other travelers they met. Eventually, the nomads separated and formed multiple settlements, most of them abandoning the Minccino name as they either joined other groups or wanted to make a name for themselves. What was left of the Minccino clan joined several other small groups on a small island. We lived off the land for generations, hospitable to any who found our shores. I grew up on stories like that, and grew inspired to go on my own journey across the sea. My father would tell me stories of our clan who wandered the world, settling in deserts, swamps, heavily forested islands, and even the frigid north. I wanted to find my own place. I wanted to go on my own journey, one that would make my ancestors proud. That's what eventually led me to Eztin. It turns out my terrible vision and difficulties communicating made things pretty tough. By the time I found my way to Eztin, and where Waypoint would eventually stand, I lost my supplies. I had no food and no weapons to defend myself. All I saw was a path. Without thinking, I followed the path to the east, attempting to outrun creepers and the undead. I ran across, I ran, arrows piercing my skin, not knowing if this path would lead me to civilization. If I could only find shelter. If I could hide out for the night. I could find food, more easily in the daylight. A good night's sleep wasn't unwelcome either. The sun started to rise ahead of me. I've been running all night. There was nothing but open space around me, so I couldn't hide if I wanted to. Thankfully, the coming daylight meant the mob horde behind me started to retreat into the darkness, except for the creepers being immune to daylight combustion. A structure started to show up in the distance. A city? Was it abandoned, or did I just get really lucky? I did my best to pick up my pace, though by now my run was more like a delirious stagger. Still, I got closer to the town. I saw towers, fortified walls, flags, and guards. This wasn't just some town, this was a straight-up kingdom. I saw a massive wheat field outside the walls of the city. Would they mind if I took some? I opted not to, in the end. Maybe I could ask for help inside. Before I could approach the guards at the entrance, someone clad in diamond armor stepped out and saw me. I stopped as he approached me. He cheerfully introduced himself as Kento and offered me food. He took me behind the safety of the kingdom's walls and gave me a tour. Kento was very easygoing and relaxed. His attitude put me at ease, as did being behind city walls. He and many of the people there welcomed me to the kingdom of Tatros, apparently named after the god they worship. It seemed like a friendly place. The people were kind and welcoming, and the city itself seemed rather inviting. During our tour of Tatros, Kento told me about the Saviors of the Waking World, a group he was a part of who colonized a mushroom island in the far west. He offered to take me in, seeing as I still had no weapons and limited food. With our minds made up, we departed for the town of Reverie. The trip was long, but I was able to keep up with Kento, thanks to the food he gave me. I wasn't a big fan of the terrifying swamp we had to go through, but the journey was worth it. Reverie was beautiful. It had many wide open places with giant mushrooms growing all over the place. I'd seen giant mushrooms before, but these were on an entirely new level. A ship was being built at the port, and several open-air buildings dotted the island. Finally, I could get the sleep I needed after so much time out in the wilderness. I had to sleep in someone else's house, which made me feel bad for essentially breaking in. Still, I was safe, and I found good friends. I would be staying in Reverie for the time being, and I would start building my first home in Eztin as soon as I felt rested. So, this second journal was written as I was helping Temperance build this mansion here in Algathor. So, yeah, these are going to be my thoughts on that. I made an unlikely friend in Temperance. I've been helping him build the Algathor mansion. It's absolutely massive, but it's beautiful so far. I always did like giant windows, and this entire town is full of them. He was amazed that I would be willing to lay out the roof, as it was a rather repetitive process. But it wasn't a big deal to me. It reminded me of when I still lived back home and volunteered to painstakingly write and rewrite tactile books for the younger kids like me. I still wish I had those growing up. But hey, better late than never, I guess. Anyway, Temperance and I kind of bonded over that story and a bunch of others. It's a shame we couldn't talk more, though. I really feel as though we'd formed a strong friendship. He's gone now, though. I'm not sure where he went. He's not in Eztin anymore, I know that much. Maybe he wanted to start fresh after the war crap with Tatros? That's been over a long time, though. All I know is that Algathor was left to me. I have no idea what to do with this place, honestly. This house is so empty now. I'm sad I couldn't say goodbye when he left, but there's nothing I can do now. Wherever he is, I hope he's doing well. Now, Temperance actually ended up leaving the server for a variety of reasons, but canonically in the story, he was captured and killed by Tatros. So, that's a little awkward. Now, this next journal was written pretty much when I decided to establish the Minccino Clan in Eztin, and this, of course, is the first Minccino Clan building, period, actually. So, let's see what this has to say. Finally, the Minccino Clan is taking root in Eztin. We're small, and we may not be blood related, but we're family. I think I miss that. Having a family, I mean. It's been such a long time since I've seen them all. I sometimes wonder how they're doing on that island. Would I recognize them after such a long time? What about my parents? It took a lot of convincing to let me leave the island, but I have managed. Oh my god. It took a lot of convincing to leave the island, but I managed to leave on good terms for the most part. Mom was a little apprehensive though. She's always been like that because of my eyes. I think Dad was worried too, but he was the first to say yes. I hope they don't hate me for leaving. I know they all loved me and I miss them a lot, but I'm proud of the new connections I've made. Like I thought in the beginning, I've found a new home. They've accepted me for who I am and never once gave me crap about my limitations. In fact, they didn't really care about my eyes. I've never really experienced something like that before meeting them all. It sounds really stupid, I know, but I couldn't be happier about that. I'm very proud to call them all my new family. I know that whatever comes, they'll stand by my side, and I intend to stand by theirs. This next journal I wrote after I built this place in Polarctica. Creeper, go away. And I decided to basically give my thoughts on that. So let's go ahead and give this guy a read, shall we? I hate the cold so much. Why did I even come up here? I mean, I wanted to bring Minccino Clan services up north, but I honestly don't think it was really needed. Dark seems to be doing pretty well here. He's made all sorts of unique friends. I usually stay away from some of them. What with the murderous, dear lord. What with the general murderous nature of some of them. But hey, boats float in different directions. That's what makes the world interesting. Some boats bump into each other, changing their course forever, and some don't. Some pass on by, while others see what's going on and float in our direction. Things come and go, but there's always something new around the corner. Geez, why am I getting so philosophical all of a sudden? I think the cold is getting to my brain. Now we've reached the point where all the journals I've written are basically scattered around Madeira specifically. So we start with number 5 to number 8 here. So let's see what number 5 has to say. This is the one that gets a little bit sad, actually. So yeah. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. I miss you so much. The clan misses you. You were the light of our family, our beautiful Rose. You taught us all to embrace life. You accepted everyone as they were. And you took care of us when we were young. Sometimes I wonder if you'd be proud of me. I left home. You always said family was important, but I didn't want to stay in one place for my entire life either. I mean, that's how we used to live, isn't it? We spread out, discovering new things, and settled down somewhere new. I don't know. I'm happy where I am. Can you see my home? Have you seen my friends? they're family too, you know? I still love and care about them, or I still love and care about the clan back home. But I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I have to be honest with you. I'm kind of dodging things. I guess I just don't want to confront some of the crap weighing me down. There's so much I want to tell you, but I guess it's too late now. I don't know how to put how I feel into words, to be honest with you. You were always there for us, that rock we could always count on. You inspired me so much, and I never got to tell you. You taught me so many things, and I never got to thank you. I never got to tell you how much I loved your food. I never got to tell you how much I loved how you'd try to cheer everyone up when we needed it most, and even when we didn't. You always hit us with a motto: live, love, and forgive. No matter what anyone did, you lived by that. Even if you felt the need to call someone out on something stupid. There's a lot of stupid stuff I know I said and did throughout my life. Stuff I'm not sure I'm ready to forgive myself for, but I guess holding on to that crap isn't really getting me anywhere either. I know if you were around, you'd give me a lecture about that. I weirdly miss that kind of thing. I guess it's time I work on letting stupid stuff go, you know? So, I guess, thanks for showing me that too. Live, love, and forgive. I choose to believe you were onto something there. So this next journal was basically written as the story on the server started to pick up again, and stuff was going down. So this kind of leads up toward the end game and stuff like that. So let's give this a good read here. Last time I stood here, Lucius was here. He seemed bothered by something. I know why now. The book he left behind pretty much confirms it. Everything he had done was because he was ordered to do it. Every meeting with my friends, everyone he's killed. He wasn't the only one, though. That whole kingdom was under Tatros' control. It seems like the king was completely controlled, though. He has no memory from before he was locked in. I can't imagine what that must have been like. To find out that your body and mind weren't really yours for 10 plus years. Guess I really don't know what hell is. We found our way to the end today. We stormed the Forbidden Kingdom and entered the portal. We found Tatros on the other side. I wasn't much help in the fight, but we eventually defeated him and set the kingdom and the other gods free. Finally, Eztin is at some sort of peace. At least we're not under the threat of annihilation anymore. Something Lucius said the other day really bothered me. He came by to deliver armor he was apparently given. He said he had no use for it, but I wasn't supposed to tell anyone about it. He made a comment about the people we'd be going up against. About how they also had families of their own. I knew we did the right thing by taking Tatros down a few pegs, but what about those people? We just ran into that kingdom and fought like hell, taking down any sentries that came our way. Were they all under control too? Or did they genuinely believe in what they were fighting for? Or what they were trying to do? Or were they aware of what was going on and we had to do what we had to do, but did we have to do that? I should have taken what Lucius said more seriously. Maybe we could have found a way to get past them without killing them. Find a way to go straight for Tatros. That would have been ideal. I guess what's done is done. There's no point in dwelling on what could have been. For better or worse, this is the path we chose. We did a lot of good, but it came at a price. Now we have to live with that. We have to live with the fact that we tore apart families. So many fathers didn't come home today. So many kids lost someone they loved today. We did something horrible to accomplish good. I get the feeling Lucius won't be too thrilled. I can't say I blame him either. He warned me, and I didn't act on it. Disregard my earlier statement. I think I figured out what hell is. This next journal was actually done up just after we updated to 1.15.2 and actually officially started season 2.5, which is where some of the story stuff that got cancelled started up. So that's where this journal comes in. Let's give this guy a read. A lot of travelers have been coming to Eztin lately, way more than in the past. They keep talking about how Eztin, quote, reappeared after the battle with Tatros. That seems strange to me, or at least it did until I looked back at some of the journals and stuff in the Waypoint Library. Tatros had been running all kinds of experiments in order to reach the end, and the power he was after. I cannot read. One of the entries talked about the sky going black for a moment before returning to normal. Could that have been when Eztin was cut off from the rest of the world? If so, how did I get here? By the time I arrived, Zolvin and Tristan had already been sealed away by Tatros, and most of the others were already here. There's no way a hopelessly lost blind girl could find her way into a pocket dimension by accident. Was there some sort of subtle influence that brought me here, or was it pure chance? Could it have been Zolvin and Tristan calling for help, or was it Tatros for some reason? It wouldn't make It wouldn't make much sense for it to be Tatros, though. There would be no sense for him to bring along so many rogue elements when he was already dealing with the followers of the other two. But how could the others bring us here? They could barely contact their chosen heretics. How could they transport random people here? Then again, do we really know what those three are truly capable of in the first place? Here's a thought. If we were brought here intentionally, what do we do now? Were we only brought here to help free Eztin? Was that our purpose? Not that I'm complaining. Though. I'm still not happy about the death toll. I'm glad that Eztin is free, though. While everything was going on, I felt like I had a goal, a purpose to help and support help and support those who needed it. Now that it's all over, I feel like I'm back at square one. It's like I'm back with the old plan, trying to figure out what to do with myself before finally deciding to leave the island. I originally said I left home because I wanted to continue the clan's legacy, to explore and discover new things, and make a new place for myself to call home. All that is true, but it's not the full truth. I needed to find a place where I could be me, a place where I wouldn't be coddled and isolated from the world because I was different. I wanted to show myself and everyone like me that our limitations didn't have to be barriers because someone said they were. I want to show them all that I could still be somebody despite my disability. I wanted to show them all that I am a human being first and foremost. I've really come to love Eztin. I think more than anything, though, I've really come to cherish the friends I've made here. They see me for who I am, and they don't care about my disability. They do whatever they can to help me, even if they don't have to. But beyond that, I've learned so much from them, and I think they learned something from me. We all enjoy each other's company, and I think we're all better for it. I don't think I would trade this for anything in the world. Even if I can't figure out what to do next, this is still leagues better than being back with the old clan. And here we have the last one for today. This is definitely one of the more recent ones. There is still one more after this, however, but we're not going to read that today. That'll be for next time. But let's see what this guy says. I've been thinking about the past a lot lately, maybe a little too much. I've heard it's not good to be stuck in the past, but I've also heard it's good to look back on it. Maybe writing it down somewhere will get it out of my system. My clan never really wrote stuff down as far as history goes. Our legacy is one that's been passed down through stories. There's no real way to know how much of them are true, though. The stories that I know tell of a group of nomads that traveled the world. No one knows who they were, or I guess no one remembers at this point. No one really remembers why they traveled the world in the first place. Some history, right? All we really know is that the nomads grew in numbers by sharing what they had with other travelers they met. Most of us were never family by blood. We basically just adopted each other over time. That's how the clan formed. Eventually, the clan grew big enough that they decided to settle down somewhere. They spent a long time searching for a new home, but they eventually came across Alvaron, a small island off on its own. Life on the island was hard at first. The stories say farming was difficult, so there wasn't a lot of food at first. A lot of the clan didn't survive. The rest persisted, and they were eventually able to find a way to sustain their own food supply. Eventually, the town of Fairwind was born, and that is where the clan stayed up to this day. Many of them grew restless over time, however. I guess a lot of them craved the adventures they had during the nomadic times. So they decided to leave the clan and go off on their own. They traveled the world, presumably settling down in new places. I don't think any of them ever came back, though. I think they settled down, or they settled into their new lives as they became part of new families and new cultures. I guess that means I technically have family everywhere. It's technically possible that even some of the people of Eztin are descended from the Minccino Clan, though it's impossible to know for sure. It's honestly, it honestly frustrates me to know that there are so many more stories that could have been told about our clan. I can only really pass on my own stories at this point, and I barely have any before Eztin. What can I say? I barely got to see any of Fairwind. I couldn't do much because my family was always so protective of me. They were always worried that I would get hurt because of my eyes. They loosened their grip as I got older, but I was restless by that point. I wanted to start somewhere new and make my own legacy. I wanted to show my clan, I wanted to show my clan that I didn't need to be protected constantly. I wanted to show them that I could make my own, make my own way. Wow, okay. I wanted to show them that I could make my own way in the world, even if they had no faith in me. I never thought I would get caught up in a battle of gods. I never thought I'd meet the people I have over time. I never thought I would eventually come to build my own home and officially continue the clan, but I did. I wonder what they would think. I wonder if they would be proud of the things I've accomplished. I suppose the real question now, though, is, does it really matter? Well, guys, that will pretty much be it for all the journals today. There's one more, but that will be part of a much bigger video, possibly two, depending on how long it takes. So yeah, stick around for that. That'll hopefully be coming soon. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I definitely enjoyed writing this lore and, you know, trying to figure out where my clan came from and all that. But yeah, you guys, definitely leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you're interested, check out the original Unknown Empire Season 2 series on my channel, as well as all the other members, because all of this ties together in a larger story and stuff like that. A lot of content, but it's a good time, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, please feel free to check out any other thing I have on this channel, as well as everybody else on the Unknown Empire. And if you haven't already, be sure to join the Minccino Clan on Discord. Links to that will be in the description down below. And until next time, you guys, Minnie out.